Welcome back to Living Local. Now, it's probably too early to declare that spring has arrived, but warmer temperatures over the last 10 days have signaled the first significant spring thaw as the snow cover that has been with us for what seems like months is disappearing rapidly. Now, while the warmer temperatures are good news for most, the melting snow can present some significant problems for some homeowners. Joining us in studio to talk more about that is Sarahdericks from MidAmerica Basement Systems. Now, Sarah, we are so happy to welcome you back to the show.
Well, thank you for having me back.
So we had you on the show just 2 weeks ago. Temperatures then were below zero.
Frigid.
Now, water in your basement seemed like something that people were probably not thinking about at all then, but that's not really the case anymore, right?
No, it is not the case anymore over the last few days. Just go out to the front of your street and you can see a babbling brook, if you will. Water is running and all of that water has to go somewhere. So hopefully your home is protected and we've got you taken care of, but if not, there's still time.
Right. Now, Sarah, you mentioned that water has to go somewhere.
It does.
How can it make its way into somebody's home?
There's any number of ways. If any kind of water pressure builds up next to your foundation, it can make its way through cracks. It can make its way in between your wall and the footing. There's so many ways for it to get in there, and I'm no expert, but I have experts who can tell you exactly how that water is getting in there.
Now, Sarah, for folks out there who have never had water in their basement, that doesn't mean that it can't happen any season.
No, it doesn't. And in fact, we get calls all the time from people. I've lived in this house 20 years and I've never had water once. This is the first time. And that's just how homes age. Eventually, things will deteriorate outside your foundation, pressures build, any number of things. But eventually, homes get water, and we're there to help.
Absolutely, and that's such a great point to make, that just because it's never happened doesn't mean it can't at any point. Are there any signs that we should be looking for in our home that may signal that we're going to have some water issues?
Yeah, absolutely. There's some early warning signs in the form of it's called efflorescence. It's this chalky sort of powder that looks like it's forming, and that I like to compare it to like a soda can, where if you get condensation on the outside of a soda can, it'll run down, and it's the same thing. So moisture from the outside is sort of seeping through. Rock is porous. It's seeping through, and when it comes through, it's bringing little bits of sediment. And so these little chalky drips that are running down your walls, people maybe don't know that that's an early warning sign that you've got some moisture coming through there.
An important thing to know there. And to help us kind of visualize some of these factors, we recently toured a typical basement with MidAmerica Basement Systems designer Brandon Westmoreland to take for kind of look at some of these danger signs. Let's take a look.
Yeah.
So as you can see here, we do have signs of stage 1 wall failure, which is going to be a frost line crack that comes across your foundation. If you do not take care of this, then what ends up happening is you get a stair-step crack, which will be stage 2, and then shearing will begin to develop over time, as in this will come off the footing, which is stage 3. If you do not handle something like this, then you end up in stage 4, what I like to call the bat cave, where the foundation actually caves in. But the reason this happens is you end up having an active wedge on the other side of this wall. A lot of soil will end up drying out. It'll expand over time. Also, you'll get a bunch of water on the other side of this foundation, which will create a bunch of hydrostatic pressure, creating problems like this in plenty of homes. So here you can see that we have signs of water coming through the foundation wall. What ends up happening is you get a false water table on the other sides of these walls. Over time, those water vapors will actually begin to come through these joints. They build up in these blocks. With the hydrostatic pressure, water will actually find the path of least resistance. Coming through joints, cracks in the floors are also cracks in the walls. To see early signs of that, just check for the white chalky stuff, the efflorescence, and you can tell that you do have a water problem in your basement. So as you can see with this sub pump, there's standing water in it, even in the winter. So if it's a problem now, then when spring comes, it's going to become even worse. So here you can see signs of settlement, which generally is your home sinking farther into the ground. What you'll see is vertical cracks as far as early signs of that. There'll be sister cracks on the other side of the foundation walls. You'll also have windows not opening and closing properly. You'll have doors not opening and closing properly. And then you'll have cracks inside your home on the exterior walls too as well. One thing we know about settlement is if you don't handle it right away, then it'll only get worse.
Big thanks to Brandon for walking us through those different stages. I think it's really helpful to actually see what those issues can look like. Now, Sarah, at MidAmerica Basement Systems, do you offer basement inspections to help people recognize these danger signs?
Absolutely. Brandon, who you just saw, is one of our certified design specialists. They go through some very rigorous training. We have like 20 now. There's a ton of people. I'm sure it's somewhere in that neighborhood. Our team is growing all of the time, and they're on standby at all times to help you with your issues. It does not cost anything for them to come out, and what we really do that's different than a lot of companies is we're there to educate you on what's happening. If you decide that you want it fixed and you want it fixed with us, we can present you what we do, and all of our services, all of the products that we offer are designed to last for the lifetime of your home, because we don't want you to, put a patch on it and then have to fix it again later. We want you to be able to fix it once and call it good.
Absolutely, and it's so wonderful you offer that service free for people. You need a professional sometimes.
That's right.
Google is helpful for a lot of things, but I think sometimes we really need a human being to kind of look at the issue and give us their expert knowledge. Now, are there any preventative steps that people can take from stopping issues like Brandon was showing us?
There are some tricks as far as, grading your landscaping so that water's flowing away from your house. And there's, if you have gutters so that the water doesn't build up around the foundation specifically. We do offer gutter services now so that we can help direct some of that water away from your foundation as well. But in the grand scheme of things, eventually, like we said, all homes, water, it's like Jurassic Park. Mother Nature finds a way,
right?
And eventually it will get in there. And so being preventative and having somebody come and address those things before they become a problem is a service that we are happy to offer.
And you're also offering something very exciting, Sarah. You've partnered with the station to give somebody out there a basement makeover that's going to be worth up to $10,000. So can you tell us more about that?
I would love to. We are in the final weeks of availability to enter for that. Go to the ourquadcitiespage.com to the contest link, and we are giving away a full perimeter of waterproofing and a triple safe sump pump. We call it the Cadillac of sump pumps. It's actually got 3 pumps built into it at different levels so that if your water does start to rise, the next pump will kick on, and it's got a battery backup on it, so if your power goes out, which sometimes in these heavy storms that happens, and it can keep running usually up to 24 hours, we say, on the battery life. So usually power is not out that long unless there's an inland hurricane. But yeah, we're giving away a full perimeter of waterproofing and a sump pump.
Wow. Why is it so important to MidAmerica Basement Systems to give back in this way? I mean, this is a huge, huge gift that you're going to be giving.
Our company, just in general, we are not out to simply fix and install some systems in people's homes. We genuinely want safe and healthy homes for everybody. And so it's the mission of our team, and our sort of benchmarks, everything that we do are based around training and leadership and being a company that operates with integrity. And so really every single person who works for our organization is really focused on providing people these remarkable experiences. And we really do take a lot of pride in making that happen for people.
Fantastic. Sarah, thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure.
All right, guys, for more information on MidAmerica Basements, all the services they offer, go to MidAmericaBasementSystems.com. And to register for the Dry Basement Giveaway, go to ourquadcities.com and click on Contests. We'll also have all the details from today's segment posted there as well. More Living Local continues after the break. Stay with us.